So I am going to offer a brief moment of some words of reflection this morning. I would like you to picture the scene. A room full of Jews trying to sit still and be quiet, trying to empty their minds of busy, rambling thoughts, trying to stay focused on the simple act of breathing rather than reading the prayer sheet for the 10th time over, searching for any stimulus that might offer distraction from the task that was meant to be at hand, the practice of meditation. This scene was 20 years ago. I first came to the United States to spend about 8 months living and serving at a Jewish retreat center in the Lower Catskills, Alat Chaim. And for the first 4 of those 8 months, the primary mode of retreat offered were meditation retreats. Now, 20 years ago, this was still a fairly new thing within the Jewish world. Most of the Jewish teachers leading these retreats had to gain their training outside of the Jewish world, where the discipline of meditation was more established, particularly in Hinduism or Buddhist centers. And this was where I got my initial foundation in meditation practice, learning from some of the best guides, Rabbi David Cooper of blessed memory and his wife Shoshana Cooper, Rabbi Sheila Peltz-Weinberg, Sylvia Borstein, Rabbi Jeff Roth, Rabbi Shefa Gold. Chanting, breathing, walking meditations, and Torah interpreted through the lens of meditation practice. Perhaps what I learned most of all from these first retreats was that while one can meditate for just 30 minutes or even just take 1 minute of your day and it be of benefit, it was after 2 or 3 days of silence and mindfulness meditation that one really settled into a deeper place where more significant experience and insight might emerge from the experience. The most powerful experience I ever had connected to these retreats actually took place after a retreat was over. In fact, I was quite the skeptic when I first joined in some of these retreats. What's spiritual about sitting still and doing nothing, I thought. At one of my first retreats, I spent 3 days trying to stick with the program and remain open to the possibilities. But quite honestly, I just found that my hips and my backside started to feel stiff and sore after all that sitting. I enjoyed the chanting and the teachings, but 40 minutes of silent breathing meditation was hard. Throughout those 3 days, my busy mind was examining and judging and critiquing, and there really wasn't much room for anything else. It wasn't until after the retreat was over and I felt this incredible sense of dis-ease within, and it was unsettling. So I took myself off to a quiet meditation space to be alone and sit one more time. My mind was no longer questioning the teachers. I just sat, and I felt a profound sense of emotional release. And then what arose after that is beyond words, but it was this deep felt sense of connection that was beyond my own boundaries. This morning we heard Larry chant an excerpt from one of the Haftarot assigned to Rosh Hashanah. The rabbis of the Talmud, who lived about 1,000 years after Hannah's time, regarded her prayer as the great example of everything that prayer should be. From the verse that says that Hannah spoke al libah, meaning she spoke to herself, but more literally, upon her heart. The Talmud says that prayer should be from the heart, done mindfully with purpose and intention. In the words of Rabbi Eliezer and the Mishnah, anyone who only prays a fixed prayer has not really prayed to God at all. Prayer must be an act of the heart before it is an act of the mouth. In many Rosh Hashanahs of years past, I've offered the thought that it's kind of ironic that this is the reason that the rabbis assign this passage to Rosh Hashanah on the very same day that over time those same rabbis kept stuffing the prayer service full of more and more words. And in a normal year, we've already made selections and cut out parts of the potential liturgy, and this year we went further, recognizing that Zoom fatigue is a real thing, and it would be better to be present with each other for a service that tries to capture the most essential elements of our liturgy and the worship experience, rather than trying to pack it all in. But this year, I want to suggest something more. Our communal ritual is important, It provides the vessel, the reason for setting aside a special day and a time to come together as Jewish community all over the world, even if this year we're doing it on our screens. The shared experience, the familiar tunes, the reflective poetry, there's comfort and connection that is created by our liturgy. This year, I believe that many of us might understand, though, and yearn for the kind of prayer that Hannah exemplified in a whole new way. In a more normative year, when things are running in our lives more or less as we expected them to be, we might be satisfied with showing up on the right day and going through the motions. Maybe as we leave, we talk to others, we comment on how the soloist or the choir sounded this year, whether we liked the sermon or not. We respond to the surface of the experience, and just as I was in my first meditation retreats, our critical, evaluating minds are busy at work. But the real purpose and meaning of the Jewish New Year doesn't come from this. It's in the quiet moments, when we reflect on our character traits, yes, the same ones that we commit to working on again and again, when we sit and we contemplate the priorities in our lives, when we examine the relationships we have with family members and friends. These are the moments that have the potential to be transformative. In a more normal year, we'd create some of those spaces during a service. On Yom Kippur afternoon, that's been designed to be a more meditative time here. This year, most of those quiet moments will come when we turn off our screens. There's no more liturgy or music for our minds to analyze. We're just with ourselves. Now, in rabbinic tradition, Hannah is considered to be one of 7 prophetesses. Hannah's prophetic moment is that plea of a broken heart. In a normal year, there would be those among us whose lives have been upended, a death in the family, a divorce, a cancer diagnosis, the loss of a job. And this year, there is all of that and much, much more. We are all struggling, some days more than others, to maintain our equilibrium and remain connected. The pandemic has placed enormous stress upon our lives in numerous ways. We're exhausted. It doesn't have to be a COVID diagnosis, but we all need healing. This year, in the space that follows the service, if we go and we find a quiet place to be, many of us will have prayers to offer that do come from a broken heart. This year, there are many, many Hannahs among us. If we give ourselves the gift of the quiet contemplative time that we need, a different kind of prayer may emerge from our lips. The Haftarah tells us that Hannah's lips moved as she prayed, and so the rabbis in the Talmud conclude that we too should make every effort to offer our prayers of the heart and find words for them, not just thinking our deepest thoughts and highest aspirations, but trying to actually express them in words. There's something about putting our best and most soul-shattering thoughts into words that can help us to hear them. Without words, our prayers remain muffled and drowned out by the roar of our busy lives or the internal chatter of our restless minds. Rabbi Barry Schwartz, in a book about the prophets, ends his chapter on Hannah with the words, "The path of prayer responds to our most basic emotional and spiritual needs, the mind yearning for understanding, the heart yearning for healing, and the soul yearning for transcendence." This year, take that time that you need to be alone, to sit and meditate, to see what arises from the silence, and then to turn that into words of prayer. Pour out your heart, and may you find solace and comfort and guidance, and emerge from these high holy days with hope and faith in a better tomorrow. Ken Yehi Ratzon.